Happy Monday and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Evie, owner and creative director of Evielutions Design, where I help businesses with all of their branding needs, more specifically, web design. So, today we're going to be talking about why your website isn't showing up in Google. As you know, your business relies on search traffic to reach new customers and connect with people. But what happens when your website isn't showing up in Google searches? This can be a huge problem for businesses. So today I'm going to break down some of the reasons why your customers can't find your website on Google and how to fix them. Okay, so one little tip that I'm seeing that goes along with the first issue, which is your website not being indexed yet, is a common mistake. And this is where I see that your search engine visibility has been turned off within WordPress. But luckily, this is a quick and easy fix. So what you'll need to do is you'll want to log into your WordPress website. Then you'll go to settings and then select reading. At the very bottom, you'll see a section labeled search engine visibility. If you see a check mark in that box, this means that you do not, again, I repeat, you do not want search engines to index your website. Now, there may be a few reasons why this setting may have been turned on. And one reason may be at some point, maybe you were in development state, building out the website and you didn't want the site indexed until it was complete. And maybe you forgot to turn it back on. Another reason may be that, your content, you don't want that content indexed because maybe it's paid content, like in cases where you maybe have a membership directory or a paid content website. So in that case, you'd want to discourage at the page level and not the entire website. So this would not be the setting that you would want to use. One of the biggest reasons that your website isn't showing up is because it's not indexed. So if you have a website that is new, it will take a while for Google bots to crawl and index it. And this means that you won't show up in searches at first. Plus, with new websites, they don't have as many quality inbound links, so Google won't rank them high at that point. So you'll first want to check to see if your website is already indexed. And you can do this by going to Google and typing site your domain name. So for instance, in this example, I use site scifairchamber.com. So if your site has been crawled, you'll see a list of pages from your website. If it hasn't been crawled, you won't see this, and that means that you need to create and submit a sitemap to Google to kind of force them to go ahead and index you. So in order to get your website indexed with Google, the first thing you'll want to do is install a sitemap plugin. There are a ton of them out there, but a few that I recommend is Yoast, Google XML sitemaps, and all-in-one SEO. So I use Yoast plugin, and once installed, it automatically generates the sitemap for you. You can view the sitemap in Yoast by going to SEO in the toolbar, General, and then clicking on the Features tab and scroll to the XML section. There you will see a question mark, and you'll want to click on that, and you will see the XML sitemap link. It will generate multiple sitemaps, such as a sitemap for pages, posts, projects, etc. Okay, so now that you have a sitemap generated, you will need a Google Search Console account if you don't already have one. And I'm going to walk you through how to set that up shortly here. But a Google Search Console account is going to allow you to be able to monitor different things pertaining to your website, such as security issues, indexing errors, as well as allow you to manually submit sitemaps to Google. Okay, so now we're going to walk through how to set up your Google Search Console. And this is assuming that you already have a Google account set up with Google Analytics installed and all of that. So you'll go to search.google.com and we're going to click to start now. And it's going to give you two options to go ahead and set up your domain. We're going to use the default, which is going to make sure that all URLs, subdomains are added, as well as your unsecure and secure URLs. So I'm going to go ahead and put my domain in and click continue. And so now it wants us to verify that we do own this domain. And they're going to do this by adding a DNS record within your domain register. So it provides you with this little TXT record that you'll need to add. And so we're going to go ahead and click copy. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to add it to my particular domain. Okay, so I've logged into my cPanel, which is where I can manage my records for my domain. And I'm going to come over here and click Add TXT Record. And the name is just going to be the default, which is my domain name. And then I'm going to paste that record that we copied here and click Add Record. Okay. Okay, so now that that record has been added, sometimes it may take, a few minutes, maybe up to an hour, but we're going to go ahead and see if we can verify this. So we're going to come down here and click verify. And guess what? We're good. So we've been verified, and now we're able to go to the property itself. Okay. It's going to give you, a little tutorial on how to use the Google Search Console. So now that we have it all set up, the first thing we want to do is come over here to sitemaps. Okay. And we're going to be submitting a new sitemap for this particular domain. Okay, so remember how we set up the Yoast plugin earlier? To get the link to your sitemap, you'll want to again come back here to SEO General and then click on the Features tab. And this little question mark will give us a link to see our XML sitemaps. Okay, so here is our XML sitemaps, and I'm more focused on the actual page sitemap, indexing that. So here's our URL. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and then head back over to the Google Search Console and paste that URL here. Now let's go ahead and submit it. Okay, so it says it's been submitted successfully, and Google will periodically process it and look for changes, and we will be notified if anything goes wrong with it in the future. Okay, so it's been submitted, and we do see a success status, and it says it has discovered 24 URLs. Okay, so that is how you set up your Google Search Console and submit your sitemap. Okay, so now that we have your sitemap submitted to Google, the next common issue that we see is that you are not providing high quality content. If you don't have valuable content on your website, you probably won't find your website in Google search results. And that's because Google ranks websites that provide high quality content. And in order to do that, for them to do that, you have to provide that quality content. So you want to make sure that everything you write on your website is comprehensive and answers readers or customers' questions. And although you don't need super long content, I would say a minimum of like 500 words is a great start, but 1,000 or more is better. So it just needs to have value and encourage visitors to stick around and take the next step with you. And if you know your content leaves something to be desired, it's a good idea to work with a content writer or a graphic designer to get things back in shape. And just remember to add new content regularly. That's really important. Google is looking for fresh, new, relevant content from your website. And keep in mind that images should be relevant and have SEO friendly text characteristics like alt text. Okay, so the next thing that we're seeing is that your website isn't focused on SEO. And this actually goes hand in hand with providing high quality content. SEO stands for search engine optimization. And basically, it's using different strategies and techniques to ensure your website is optimized to rank at the top of a specific keyword search. Your website design could be absolutely amazing, but without SEO, it's not going to rank. No one will be able to find or experience that amazing website or take the next steps to work with you. So you really want to make sure that you have a great seamless website user experience that is centered around SEO. So by that, I mean adding specific search keywords when you're creating, your blog posts, and target those keywords so that your business will show up in searches. Ensure that you're streamlining your site's navigation, and remember to regularly add quality pieces of content. So like for me, I add a blog post every Monday. So that's 4 blog posts a month. And I'm doing that on a consistent basis. That's really important. So these 3 key elements could be the reason why your website isn't showing up for customers on Google. And it is so important to address these issues and get your website back on track. Be sure to comment below that if you experienced that these tips didn't help you to figure out why you're not appearing on Google, and I'll be sure to reach out to you. In the meantime, have a great week, and I will see you guys next Monday.